This is topic C on page 71, scheduling tasks. Now that you've defined the relationship between tasks, you can use Microsoft Project to schedule the work. Understanding how Project schedules tasks will help you get the most from your project plans. If you identify the real drivers of tasks in your project, for example, that an event has to take place on a certain day, you can use the powerful features of Project to make sure that all the interdependent tasks are scheduled most efficiently. In this topic, you will schedule tasks and manage constraints and deadlines.
So manually scheduled versus auto-scheduled tasks. Microsoft Project gives you two options for scheduling tasks, manual and auto. By default, all new tasks you enter in an empty project will be manually scheduled. This option gives you complete control over each task's start date, end date, and duration. However, you can choose for new tasks to be auto-scheduled by Microsoft Project. If you choose this option, the start date, end date, and duration of each task will automatically be determined by the program based on the task's relationship to the other tasks, the calendar, and other factors. So let me show you real quick. Down on my taskbar, you can see right now any new tasks will be auto-scheduled. So that means if I was to, let me go down to the bottom of my task entry table, if I was to make a new task here, enter it into my table, I'll just name it example task, and press enter here, you can see it automatically scheduled for an estimated 1-day duration, and using the dependencies, I don't have any set, but it scheduled it for June 8th, 2020, and since it's a 1-day estimate, it's going to finish on that day as well. Now I can switch my new tasks to be manually scheduled, and you can see which one has been chosen in your task mode column. You can see that this has been automatically scheduled. If I want to manually schedule any of my new tasks, I can click this on my status bar and choose the little thumbtack icon, manually scheduled, task dates are not automatically updated. So I'm going to choose that, and I'm going to make an example task number 2. You can see when I entered it, my icon changed in my task mode column to a little thumbtack with a question mark. It did not give me a duration. It did not give me a start date. It did not give me a finish date. So I need to go in and manually set all of these. I need to go and choose how long the duration is going to be, when I want this task to begin, when I want it to finish, depending on the duration. Okay? Automatically scheduling is much easier for you when you have a very complex project schedule going on. Manually scheduling tasks is better for more simpler type projects. But once you get into, multiple levels of summary and subtasks and overlapping start and finish dates with different tasks, better to automatically schedule them using the program. All right. At the bottom of page 61, we have task constraints. A task constraint is a date-based limitation imposed on a task. You can set task constraints to control the start and finish dates of a task. Tasks can have one of 8 schedule constraint types. You choose your constraint first by opening up the task. Remember, to do that, you double-click on it. So let's say disenroll from previous school. If I double-click on that, it opens my task information dialog box. If I navigate over to my advanced tab, here I have the constraint type drop-down. And the options we have for our constraints: as soon as possible. This is the default when projects are scheduled from a start date. Then you have as late as possible, which is the default when projects are scheduled from a finish date. You also have finish no earlier than, finish no later than, must finish on, must start on, start no earlier than, and start no later than. So let's say, What was that task I chose? Disenroll from the previous school. Well, let's say right now I have that started on June 8th, but maybe you want to, let's say, let your child finish the school year out, and they don't end that school year until, I don't know, June 15th, let's say. So I don't want to start that task until June 15th. So my constraint can be, let's see, start no earlier than, and then the constraint date, I can type in June 15th, 2020. Click OK. Now you can see, push the start date back to June 15th, and also the finish date, obviously. Now, if I had any tasks that were dependent on that, well, I can't register in the new school district until I disenroll from the previous. I can't register in the new school district until I pick up the immunization records. So I need to link all of these tasks together. So what I would need to do is select all three of them, and they could be a finish to start relationship, all of them. So I'm going to link those. Now, since they're linked, I can't pick up the immunization records, just for example, until I complete number 20. So you can see now the start dates of the successor tasks have been pushed back as well. This is going to take 1 day, so it's on June 15th. So now this has been pushed back to June 16th, which pushes back the register a new school district to June 17th. So, you know, a lot of these tasks are dependent on different things that you add to the predecessors. So, you know, it's very easy for your finish date of your whole entire project to get pushed back very far, depending on what type of dependencies, what type of constraints you have on specific tasks. All right, and then we have, lastly, deadlines. You may be familiar with the concept of deadlines in a variety of contexts, but in Microsoft Project, you can set a deadline on a task for the purpose of tracking how close the task finishes to the deadline date. Setting a deadline on a task does not affect the automatic scheduling of a task. It simply gives you a visual indicator that you can use to monitor progress. For example, we need to register in the new school district by the beginning of the first day, which we'll say is September 4th. So if I double click to open this task up and go to my Advanced tab, which I'm on right now, here you can see we have a deadline field. Maybe I want to set that to September 4th, 2020. Now, obviously, as of right now, this task is set to take place on June 17th, which is good. But if I was to go back, you know, I still have to make changes to all of my other tasks, set their constraints and their predecessors, what needs to finish before, you know, the next task can begin. It's very easy for this task date to get pushed back. But I'm setting that deadline of September 4th. And if I scroll in my timeline to September 4th, that deadline is indicated on my timeline by a green downward arrow. So right now I have a lot of leeway there, a lot of working space as far as my project goes of meeting the deadline for that specific task. But it doesn't, you know, stop the task from going beyond that. It's just a visual indicator on your timeline portion to the right here of where you want it to finish before you get to that point. Okay? All right.
Your next video will be Activity 4.3 on page 73.